Brought to you by Basecamp Ed. I'm Morgan, your host of the Homeschool Curious podcast. Whether you're deep in the homeschooling world or just starting to get curious, I'm here to bring you inspiring conversations with parents, educators, and business owners navigating the wild, wonderful world of parenting. Let's get curious together. Welcome back to the Homeschool Curious podcast. I'm your host, Morgan, and today it's going to be short and sweet, just you and me, for a special solo episode as we kick off 2026. Happy New Year. And if you're like me, the start of a new year can bring a mix of excitement and, let's be honest, a little overwhelm, especially as moms juggling homeschooling, family life, and maybe even a side hustle or job. We've all set those grand resolutions like, I'm going to exercise every day, read 50 books, and revamp my entire curriculum this year, only to feel defeated by February. But this year, I'm doing it totally different. I'm about to have my fourth baby, and I'm sharing my simple framework for setting realistic New Year's goals that you can actually maintain all year long. The key? Pick just one goal per category that I talk about in the podcast. No more lists of 10 things that scatter your energy. I'm going to break it down into 3 areas: personal growth, business, if that's part of your world, and homeschooling, whether you're just curious or fully immersed. Let's dive in and make 2026 your year of sustainable wins. Today's episode is sponsored by Basecamp Ed, a community building app that is free for parents to find local, like-minded families, dedicated teachers, and educational resources. Connect with parents to form your own co-ops, playdates, or groups. Need a math tutor or a sports coach? Teachers can list their credentials. There is also a business platform to discover game-changing educational brands. Take control of your child's educational journey. Visit their website at basecamped.com or download it in the App Store. Homeschooling was never meant to be done alone. It takes a village. Build it with Basecamp Ed. Happy New Year. It is the first week of January. I know I might be a few days late for the New Year's resolution podcast, but I've spent a few days thinking about exactly what I wanted to say and how I was feeling, because I am due with our 4th boy in 1 week. Like crazy. My first one came 2 weeks early, and my second one came 1 week early, and then my third one came 1 day before his due date. So it could be any day or time at this point now that we are just about a week away from my due date. And I woke up on New Year's Eve day in such a funk. I was just in such a bad mood. I don't know if it was pregnancy hormones or what it was. I was really tired. I'm getting very interrupted sleep at this point, and I was just not myself. I think it's because I didn't set any New Year's resolutions. I hadn't really even thought about it. The season of life that I am in right now, it feels like survival mode. How am I going to set realistic goals for 2026 with a newborn on the way, moving to San Francisco, trying to grow Basecamp Ed and this podcast? And it just felt very overwhelming. And so I sat there doom scrolling. I mean, I should have taken social media down that day, because every influencer mom is like, I wake up at 4:30 a.m. and I work out and I do all of my work before my kids even wake up at 7:30. So I've had 3 hours of me time and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's just not realistic in our life right now. If I woke up at 4:30 a.m., I'd be exhausted for the rest of the day because I'm barely sleeping right now. We're about to have a newborn who's going to wake me up multiple times through the night. And if he's anything like his brothers, he's going to go through a phase where he wakes up at 5 or 5:30 every single day and doesn't go back to sleep. And that's just going to be what 2026 and probably 2027 looks like. So I have to be realistic. But also I need to set goals for myself, or else I just kind of feel blah about it. And so this year I'm separating my resolutions into basically 3 categories: personally, professionally, and homeschool kind of goal. So I just wanted to quickly jump on, share how I'm feeling, how I've set my very realistic goals for the season of life that I am in right now. Basically, let's start with the foundation. first goal should always be a personal one, especially because as moms, we are pouring so much into everybody else, we often neglect ourselves. So you can't pour from an empty cup. Picking one personal goal helps you recharge without adding stress. Focus on something that just fills the soul. It could be anything about faith, health, joy. For me, I'm choosing to tie mine into faith. So I grew up very Christian, and I've gone through phases and seasons of life where I'm really into the church. I go 2 or 3 times a week. I also went through a phase in college where I was really busy and just stopped going completely. And then I met my husband. We didn't really talk a lot about religion, and it wasn't the main focus of our relationship. And then we had kids, and I feel like that completely changes everything about a person. And so my husband, who has never really grown up very religious, has also started to explore his faith and what he believes in. And so I'm spending 2026 focusing on faith as my personal goal. What that means for me specifically, I want to focus on 20 quiet minutes a day of reflection, whether that be listening to some sort of podcast to help grow my faith, reading the Bible myself, doing Bible in a year if you have time. But I'm not making this grandiose, I am reading the whole Bible front to back. That's my goal. No, we're moving to San Francisco in a month or so, and I want to find a really good church and community and spend 20 minutes a day besides going to church, reflecting and spending that time by myself. So I'm choosing my personal goal to be centered around faith. But like I mentioned before, these personal goals could be anything health related. So some sort of fitness goal, and make it reasonable. What my husband loves to do is set these really unrealistic goals and then get mad at himself for not doing it. Like, I'm going to run 3 miles every single day and do 100 push-ups, 100 this. And it's like, that's not realistic with working 10 hours a day and having 3 and now almost 4 kids. Let's do something that's actually obtainable and you're not going to burn out by February. So for health related, it could be walking 30 minutes 3 times a day and adding it into a habit that you already do. Maybe you walk your kids to a drop-off co-op anyway, or you usually drive, but you technically could throw them in a stroller and walk. Make it something that goes around your habit already, so it makes it a lot easier to maintain for the full year. And things that bring you joy is another good category. Reading for pleasure, not for homeschooling, not for your children, but reading for you, and making it 1 book a month. Very, very obtainable, realistic goal. And my tip for success would be give yourself grace. Tomorrow's a fresh start. This goal can ripple into better patience and accountability without pressure. Section 2 is business related goals. And I know not every mom is in this space, but if you are either working from home or running a side hustle or even dreaming of starting something this year, like a homeschool blog or Etsy shop, this category is for you. The beauty of homeschooling is in its flexibility. So set a goal that complements your family rhythm. Doesn't compete against it, just one to keep momentum without burnout. For me specifically, I am choosing to help grow Basecamp Ed's name and just getting more families in the app by being a lot more present in person. Last year, I spent a lot of money and time dedicated to marketing and ads, and I don't feel like that really helped or catapulted Basecamp Ed to where it could be. So I want to spend this year maybe spending less money, but more of my actual quality time in person, face to face with homeschool families at conferences and conventions, and just going to as many as I can. I know I have 4 babies, so it's going to be hard, but my goal, and I think it's a realistic one, would be to attend 5 this year. Other examples of these business related goals could be something about networking or skill building. So attending a virtual conference or webinar 3 or 4 times this year, or learning a new tool, like spending 15 minutes a day on basic Canva for marketing, or free tutorials on YouTube for whatever tool it is that you want to learn and gain from this year. Another good example could be setting a more realistic revenue milestone, if that's where you're at with your business. So setting small, achievable targets that maybe you measure monthly, like by the end of this year, I'm going to hit $1,000 in affiliate links or the service that you provide or wherever you're at with your business. But just a pro tip in general with this business related section is tie it into your homeschool schedule. Work during nap time or this quiet study hour and use tools like a planner app to block time and whatever time that works best for you. For me, I do love working at night. As soon as the boys go to sleep, they're young, so they go to bed by 7:30 or 8, and I still have a little bit of steam left in me, and I do an hour or so. So that's kind of my own personal time block, but find an hour or window every day that works best for you and your family. And if business isn't your thing right now, just skip this section completely and maybe double down on another one of your personal goals or the next section, which is our homeschool goals, because it's all about balance. And finally, my last section would be homeschool goals, basically the heart of my podcast. Whether you're homeschool curious or you're in the thick of homeschooling multiple little ones at home right now, this is where we make education feel joyful and doable. For me, my goal this year is to build a flexible routine. And I don't know exactly what that's going to look like with 4 little boys and my oldest only being 5. So I'm not going to be extremely hard on myself this year about it, but I do want to find a good routine and find a good co-op and community group that we spend once a week with that co-op. And besides that, dedicating 30 minutes a day of heads down, one-to-one focus with my 5-year-old, especially. And then the second oldest one is 3 and he'll be 4 soon. So really focusing and working with my 4 and 5-year-old while the little 2 nap. And it doesn't need to be this great big curriculum or plan, but just 30 minutes a day to build that routine in for me and for them. But other realistic options could be streamlining your curriculum. If you're curious about homeschooling, start with one subject or topic your child's interested in. Maybe it's something that they're not doing and offering at a traditional school. And focus just the next couple of months on a small subject that your child's interested in and doing it at home, either after school hours or on the weekend, and really see if homeschooling is the right fit for you. For veterans or people in the thick of homeschooling, just simplify by focusing on core subjects and outsourcing electives to online classes so you can spend more time focusing on your other goals that we talked about earlier in this podcast, whether it's personally or professionally. Another one could be just incorporating more hands-on fun in your homeschool day. Commit to one family field trip per month or a nature walk each week to talk about science. Just keep it low prep to avoid that mom burnout, but something that could really just bring the family together. Okay, so there you have it. I've told you my 3 categories. I don't feel like setting more than 3 goals is realistic, at least for me, but for most moms who are staying home and homeschooling or maybe even trying to work while they're doing it all. So keeping it low pressure, 2 to 3, max 4. And remember, you are doing an amazing job. Give yourself grace, celebrate small steps, and lean on your community. Let's make 2026 a year of sustainable growth. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, stay curious. This has been a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. If you made it all the way to the end, you are amazing. Thank you for listening and your support. Let's stay connected, and here are my tasks for you. Subscribe, like, and share on your favorite podcast app or on my website, basecamped.com. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at basecamped.app, and go download Basecamp if you haven't already. Leave a comment and spread the love.